What is good, y'all? It's your boy God CO here, and welcome back to Mount Olympus Gaming. And in today's video, we'll be going over the patch that NRS dropped. So let's just get right into it. The first thing we're going to go over is a general mechanic improvement, which is called the uppercut jump cancel. So for those you who don't know, I'm going to show you what it is, but it's pretty much when you do a down 2 as a punish or a counter, and then for 2 bars of meter, you're able to go in the air and do a combo. So I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. Alright, so that's pretty much the uppercut jump cancel. So now here's the thing, this mechanic has always been in the game, but it wasn't as favorable by a lot of people in the community because yes, you do get a combo potential, but you're wasting 2 bars of meter, and most people can't really take high damaging stuff from an uppercut when you waste 2 bars. So with this patch, this is how they improved it. So now when you go into the air, you actually have 4 hits of armor. Number 2, when you actually do this punish, your opponent cannot break. Even if they have a full meter, they cannot break away. They cannot combo break out of this. That's really good. And also the scaling, there's virtually no scaling when it comes to this mechanic now. I'm going to show you basic combo, meterless into fatal blow, and I want you guys just to check out the damage. Alright, so as you see, that was a clean 51%. And I did that with no meter, just the 2 meters after doing the uppercut jump cancel. And that's unbreakable. So in certain scenarios, this actually became that more useful. In my opinion, I think this was a good change. Alright, now also I want to speak about something that's a little inconsistent with this. So as you can see, I have Baraka here, and I already have him recorded to do his armor move into striker grenade. You see a lot of Baraka's players do this. And I'm going to show you something about this that's a bit weird. So as you saw right there, I got hit out of the animation when I jumped up to do the uppercut cancel. So here's something that I noticed with that. There are some inconsistencies with this. So depending on how fast you go into the slow motion part of going the cancel part, you can actually get hit out of it if a person has a cameo such as striker. But also here's something else. That was me holding up directly. Now if I did the jump cancel and hold forward and up, I won't have this problem. I'm going to show you me holding forward and up right now on the screen. So did you see that? I don't know if this is a bug thing, or it's just we're going into the grenade, so our armor is just more active. But if you jump straight up and someone has striker, like in this specific scenario, you're gonna get hit out of it, and that's just a waste of meter. So something I found, I want to share this with you guys. When you do the uppercut cancel, just hold forward and up, then the R2 button or RT button if you're on Xbox. That way you're jumping diagonally up into the grenade and your armor will kick in and you'll be able to consistently punish every single time. Alright, so now we're going to get into the character specifics. So the first thing we're going to get into is GERAS. As you know, my favorite character. I'm a GERAS main. So with GERAS, he doesn't really have too much, but he does have you could say a buff to this string, slow down, which is forward 1-2. So pretty much forward 1-2 recovers 9 frames faster on hit and 4 frames faster on block or miss. So let me show you what that means. So if we try to whiff it, I recover 4 frames faster. As you can see, GERAS' animation, he recovers a lot faster. A lot of the times, I personally try to use this move just for the rock, and if it whiffs, sometimes I can get punished. Now, this just makes it a little bit harder for certain characters to punish. And now, on hit, look how long you're in hit stuff, like the hit advantage, I mean. So the hit advantage is has been increased. It's 10 more frames of hit advantage. So as you can see, how can this be useful? For any GERAS mains out there, pretty much it just gives you time to confirm better, like to see if you actually hit it. Then you can go into whatever combo you wanted to go to. You can go into whatever KAMEO you want to go into. It just pretty much allows you to recover faster and you're able to just confirm better. And I think this is overall a good buff. All right, moving along to the next character. So we have Kitana here. She doesn't really have too many buffs. She just has one, and it's called the Adenian Dance. And I'm going to show you what that string is now on screen. It's actually this move right here. It's a dial-in string. So the thing about this move is just that based on what the patch note says, it simply says it has increased hit advantage on the first 3 hits, right? So as you could tell, the first 3 hits, the only thing I can just think about, but maybe it just might hit more consistently. But yeah, it has more hit advantage. So probably able to go into other cameos that you want to go into. Maybe other special moves. It just seems like a slight buff, but so far I didn't really find nothing that was pretty groundbreaking about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Kitana in this patch. Now moving along to Li Mei. So Li Mei definitely got some love in this patch. The first notable thing is that her walk speed is a lot faster forward and backwards. I could definitely see her neutral game improving now, because with an increased walk speed, you're just able to like get in, get out. You able to play footsies a lot better with her. And yeah, that's the first thing that's actually really good about her. So now the second thing is that she actually has a new attack string. And I'm going to show you what that looks like on the screen. All right, so Rising Sun is the new attack. So it's pretty much her back 2-4. And it leads into a pop-up. But as you can see, it's a 17 frame startup. Well, actually, it's really a 12 frame startup. And it's -7 on block and -7 even if you flawless block it. Right, so the move looks like this. It leads into a pop-up. You can go into some type of combo. Now, this is very interesting because she also has a move like this. That's a mid. So you have mid, and then you have mid-high. And it offers a pretty good mix. All right, so now I have the frame data box. So I kind of want to show you guys some of the mind games that she now has. So obviously when you do the back to 1, the 1 comes out in 16 frames, which is the mid. And then with the new string that she has, it comes out in 17 frames. So there's going to be a whole mind game to this. It's like, is he going to go high, or are you just going to keep it safe with the low? Regardless of how you look at it, she's safe. But I do like the fact that she got this pop-up, because if she catches you trying to go for that, she can go into like any type of combo, any type of string. And let's be honest, it's much needed for her. So the next thing that we're going to go over is the Forces of Light string, which is her basic 1-2. So the thing about this move, it actually received a buff, and the buff is that it actually hits a little bit further. If you look right here, let's try to space this out. I can actually hit you from a little bit further, and that's always a good thing, right? The second hit, if you space it right, it's just you're able to hit a lot more further. So you actually do have to be careful when going against a Li Mei player, because now when she's on top of having the walk speed, when she's fishing, that can actually reach further, as you can see there. And you know, all it takes is 1, then she can go into some type of confirm, and then you get comboed after that. So also, I think this is a really good move. Also, when you complete this string, this also hits further as well. It's called the Seeking Sanctuary. So if you do the entire string, even if she's fishing for this, but if she did the whole thing, the entire string hits further away now. So you really have to be careful when she's fishing for this in neutral. So with this move, she just has a cancel frame is 1 frame earlier, which just means she can cancel just 1 more frame earlier into something else. Just makes her that much more scary when she's trying to fish in the neutral. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but it is a buff nevertheless. So the next buff she received is to her Nova Blast. This is her projectile. So it's actually 3 frames faster. So before, as you can see, it starts up at 19. Prior to this, it used to start up in 22 frames. Now it starts up in 19 frames. It's still reactable. It's still a high. It's just something good to have. Faster projectile, 19 frames. So all it means that she will be zoning you and using this a lot more. And that will be all for the Li Mei buffs. All right, so now we're moving along to Liu Kang. Liu Kang only has 1 buff, and the buff is to his Dragon's Tail move. So pretty much the buff is just pretty much the Dragon Tail, which is his projectile that he does, his back forward 3. And it pretty much just has 28 more frames of hit advantage, which just means it just makes this to be a lot more consistent. In some scenarios, previously in the other patch, some people can use a cameo to get out of it. Now if you get hit, you're guaranteed the follow-up, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's pretty much it for Liu Kang. All right, moving along to NITARA. So NITARA is also another character that got treated very fairly in this patch. So she also received quite a few buffs. The first one we're going to go over is her dive kick in the air. It now causes a bounce state, and it also has up block vulnerability. And then show you what it looks like now. So that's this move here. As you can see, it causes a bounce state, and now you can go into any type of combo that you would like. And this is pretty much good. She actually needed this, in my opinion. And I think it's really, really good that she has something like this as well. But also, in having this move, it's also vulnerable to being up blocked. So as you can see, now since it causes that bounce state, you can still up block it. And you're negative 41, which is extremely punishable. Even if you wish to amp it, you're actually more negative if you get up blocked. So it's a buff, but it's also balanced in the sense that if you make a read that she's gonna do that, just up block, and she's full combo punishable. All right, so now we're gonna get into the same move, but we're gonna get into the enhanced version of Dark Plunge. The enhanced version now has 20 more frames of block stun with more pushback, 10 more frames of block stun on flawless block, and has up block vulnerability. So all you pretty much need to know is that when she does this move, she is still unsafe. She's -8. So some characters can punish her, but you get a huge amount of pushback. So a Sub-Zero slide may still be able to punish, but a lot of things, she's still relatively safe. So that's if she spends meter for it, which is good. It's decent. If I spend meter, you know, should give a little more pushback on block. And I think it's a very good buff for NITARA. Okay, so the next buff that she received is to her Bloody Bolt. Now it can no longer be canceled into air specials on block or miss. That's this move. When you activate this move here and you do this, before people was able to go into another move, whether it hit them on block or not, they was able to go into some type of special move and continue her pressure. She could no longer do that. Once she actually does this move, that's it. That's all she could do. You don't have to worry about her flying around for like that moment or two. So another thing about this move is that now this move has an extra hit. So if you're doing a combo, you see how there was like a hit as she was developing the blood magic, then it's about to hit you with it. So before, that never happened. When she did that move, when she did this build up, you only got hit with the second hit. Okay, so the next move that she has, talking about the same move but the EX version, is that when you're in a combo, it has an additional hit. So when you see NITARA does this, say she goes into this, now she has an extra hit. So normally, when she does this move, you see how it did not hit him. I'm doing the non-EX version, that's why. So now the EX version, there's a hit as she's winding up, then as she completes it. And that's a good buff because now you can go into a combo, you can do certain streams, you know, just crank out that extra bit of hit. And I think this is also a really good buff for NITARA. Also, so the next thing she has is her air dash landings are allowed buffered basic attacks. So that means just doing this, like you can actually buffer it faster. So like the way I tapped the button, I tapped it extremely early, and you're just able to buffer the attacks more consistently. Just it's more favorable. And once again, we like buffs, and it's a necessary buff that NITARA needed. And for the last of her buffs, her EX, her enhanced leap of faith can now be canceled 3 frames earlier. So what does that mean? When you see NITARA do this, is this move right here. It can now be canceled 3 frames earlier, so it just means that it's a bit more faster. The startup is now 9 frames, so she can go into it a lot faster than before, and you know, do a lot of NITARA shenanigans that she can. But yeah, that is all for the NITARA buffs for this patch. Alright, so moving along to Scorpion. So Scorpion also received a few buffs in this patch. So the first buff he has is actually to his sweep, which is his back 4. Now it has 9 more frames of hit advantage. Pretty decent buff. I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking about this either. It just means that, you know, he has more hit advantage on sweep and it goes into a hard knockdown. Pretty straightforward here. So the next buff we're going to go over is Scorpion's Sweeping Scorpion Tail. So typically this was his low, and this low now hits low, mid, mid. If you look on the screen, I'm going to block and go right into it. So it's a hit low, mid, mid. It's still really punishable, negative 19. But the big takeaway with this is that now you can special cancel it after confirming the first hit into any special move. So as you can see, you could go into like a Scorpion teleport. You can also go into this special move right here to crank out some extra damage. You can also go into this move right here. You want to get the chip damage. You guys kind of get the picture here. His back 3 now is able to special cancel into any special move that he has. And Scorpion definitely needed that. Definitely needed. All right, so the second buff he received is to his enhanced flame port, which is his teleport. So pretty much now it recovers 7 frames faster and no longer enables auto block the first time in a combo. Yeah, so pretty much it recovers a lot faster. I mean, obviously it's still punishable if you beat it, but it is a bit faster now, so you do have to pay a little bit more attention when playing him. And for the last buff that he received is actually to his Fatal Blow. The Fatal Blow hit region size increased when opponent is in a combo. So all that means now is that if you are a Scorpion main and you're doing a combo, a saucy combo, and you go into Fatal Blow, his Fatal Blow would be a lot more consistent going into certain comp. Yeah, and I think Scorpion came out pretty good in this. Once again, not too groundbreaking, but it definitely is gonna spice up Scorpion, and especially with the back 3 into the special moves, you're definitely gonna see some more gameplay with that. But let's move it right along. All right, so moving along to Smoke. So Smoke has one buff. Nothing groundbreaking as well. His enhanced Vicious Vapors into Vicious Vapors cancel recovers 5 times faster. What does that mean? It just simply means this move, when he cancels, it recovers 5 frames faster. But do not worry, you can still punish him with a down 1. It is still punishable. I'm going to show you what that looks like now. Alright, so now I have Smoke to do the enhanced Vicious Vapors, and I'm going to show you guys that it's still punishable, even though it received a buff. So let's demonstrate it right now. Yeah, you can still counter it. It's still reactable. Now, even though it is faster, it just may catch some people off guard because the timing is slightly different. It just means you have to pay more attention when going against Smoke players. But yeah, that's the only buffs Smoke has for this patch. So let's move it right along. All right, moving along to OMNI-MAN. So OMNI-MAN only received 1 buff, actually 1 nerf, I'm sorry. And the nerf is pretty much actually well needed. So on his Fatal Blow, if you ever played against OMNI-MAN and you block his Fatal Blow, it used to cause you to stumble even when you blocked it, and in some cases you were unable to punish because of how much you stumbled backwards. So now it no longer causes the stumble animation when blocked. So I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. Let's do that one more time. So as you can see now, you're literally right in OMNI-MAN's face. So if you ever block his Fatal Blow, you can now like straight up full combo punish him for that. No longer will you be staggered back and you know, try to work your way in and deal with OMNI-MAN shenanigans. You block a fatal blow, it's guaranteed death. And that's actually it for OMNI-MAN. So, yep, he received a nerf. All right, so moving along to QUAN-CHI. QUAN-CHI received a new attack, right? And I like how NRS is adding new attacks to, you know, characters in the roster. It's always a nice thing when you get new attacks. But for QUAN-CHI, he just has one, and the input is slightly odd, so to say. So it's down and forward and 4, and it does a mid. So as you can see, the startup is 17 frames and you're -12 on block. So I don't see you utilizing this up close. This just gives you more of a pressure when you're from the full screen and you want to catch them, because a lot of times everyone knows if you're going against QUAN-CHI in full screen, he will be zoning you and utilizing stand 4. So now he can do down forward 4 and hit you for a mid. So it's actually a better tool for him to keep you locked down in the screen to stop you from advancing as much. And that would be all for QUAN-CHI. All right, so moving right along to actually a well-needed nerf. So Homelander, as you all know, the bane of everyone's existence, he literally came out the gate with known bugs. He just didn't operate right. And now with this patch, it actually fixes a lot of the bugs that the community was complaining about. So the first one is Air Diabolical Dash. Grounded Fist can no longer be canceled on block. So what does that mean? I'm going to show you guys now. So on the screen I have here, when you're in the air and you do Diabolical Dash into Grounded Fist, before, if you was in a combo, this actually was a known bug, and why a lot of people were frustrated, even me. I actually was very turned off by this. But you could go into a move, Diabolical Dash, and then you can actually go into a down 1 immediately after, even though you were in negative frames. But you can still punish the person for trying to take their turn back, even though it was their turn. So this actually fixes that, because now when you're in Air Diabolical Dash and you try to go into Grounded Fist, which is the 1, you're literally locked. That's it. You can't cancel into nothing else. No supers. You can't go back up for flight. It's done. That's it. If you block that, then he's just gonna have to hold that, and that's a very much needed nerf. All right, so the next part is also with pertaining to Diabolical Dash. It's the hovering impact, has 6 more frames of recovery. So what is that? It's, you guys seen it before, is when they spam this and you're just stuck there and a block stun or a block infinite. Now it has 6 more frames of recovery. Also has some pushback, right? So he can't just mindlessly do it anymore. But let's take it to the corner, because I want to show you guys how this is now no longer a problem. All right, so now I'm as Liu Kang and I have the AI set to record as OMNI-MAN to do the hover and do the kicks, and I want you guys to notice something different here. It stopped. It's no longer a block infinite. You can actually stop it. So the first hit is guaranteed, but just hold up to do a up block, up and block, so to say. And now you can punish Homelander. He can no longer keep you trapped in a block infinite. Great job, NRS. We really needed this. So now Homelander it's just better now. It's better to go against a Homelander, because everyone knows when you went against the corner, they're just gonna keep doing that and chip you away. There is literally nothing you can do about it. Very great job, and a necessary nerf. And that would be all for Homelander. It was everything else was just pretty much bug fixes. Nothing directly impacting this character. It was pretty much just, you know, animation fixes, but these two were the main things that needed to be addressed, and they're now addressed. So Homelander is easier to fight against. So let's move right along. All right, so now let's get into the cameos. So the #1 cameo right now we're gonna go over that receive some buffs is CYRAX. CYRAX can now move while holding self-destruct. Main character will no longer take damage if CYRAX is hit while holding self-destruct. CYRAX will drop his bomb if he is hit while holding self-destruct. Self-destruct explosion hit region increased and has 1 more active frame. All right, so all the talk about self-destruct, that is this move right here. So typically it has a timer. Now you can activate it, and when you activate self-destruct, he actually can move with you. So if you hold block, you can let it go and then tap down and the cameo button again, and you can detonate it whenever you want. This is really good, really good, because they always had a great idea with the self-destruct bomb, but it wasn't that practical. Now with this buff, a lot more characters on the roster will be able to use the bomb setups. All right, so for instance, you get a pretty much a knockdown, right? You call him out, and then now if you get a knockdown, you can pretty much set up some type of trap. Now obviously I haven't optimized it yet, I haven't found anything cool, but it's just the patch notes and showing you guys, you know, what are the new buffs and the nerfs. All right, so the next thing about CYRAX is that now his copter chopper, if you input up and R1, you can actually know the direction that the opponent is going to land. So if you do the regular move, I'm going to show you guys now. Let's do it one more time. The regular move brings you towards you, and now you're able to do the move away from the opponent. Now you know every time they're going to hit. And now that pushes him away. This is actually really useful and really good that NRS patched this, because now it can make for comboing off of copter chopper a lot more consistent. We know for certain where the opponent is going to land. And I'm sure you're going to see a lot of different setups and combo routes, which is great. We love those. So nice buff to CYRAX. Also another nice addition, I would call the quality of life, is that now when you do the horizontal copter chopper, CYRAX will now glow white. Did you notice that? So you can do it again. He now will glow white, indicating that to let the person know that they're spending all the resources and he's doing the horizontal one. A pretty good quality of life addition. Other than that, that would be it for the cameo CYRAX. Overall, he got some good buffs, and I can't wait to see what people come up with. Let's move it right along to the next cameo. All right, so now we're gonna be discussing DARRIUS. So from the beginning of this game, they've been trying to have people play DARRIUS more because, let's be honest with you, he's one of the least used characters. The only time people were really using him was with Reiko, and then that's until Tremor dropped, and you really don't see nobody using DARRIUS because he's just so resource heavy. So now they actually gave him a few buffs, and I think now we're actually going to see more of DARRIUS. So the first thing is that he has a new attack, and it's called Ground Invitational, and it can be performed by holding down during delay heal turn. So I'm going to show you what that is right now. All right, so the move that I have here on the screen is a delay Ground Invitational. So pretty much this move gives you 50-50 potential. Before he only was able to offer you the overhead. Now he can offer the overhead and the low. And this can only be done on knockdown. So when you knock the opponent down, you hold down in R1, and then you hold down in R1 as well. So I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. So that's the overhead. And now that's the low. So now he offers a low, and it's a new move. And hey, we like new moves in Mortal Kombat 1. Okay, so now the newer move that he has is a delayed army of 2. So similar like the move we just spoke about, you have to do a knockdown, down in R1 to draw him out. Right, there we go. And when you get close, you tap L2, there's a high low into a hit. This is really good, and it doesn't matter what character you have, they will do the same kick animation. So someone is going to go high, someone is going to go low, and they're going to follow up with another attack. This is pretty much a new attack, and it's really good for DARRIUS. I think it definitely adds some new twist to him, and it's very much needed. So now let's get into some of the other buffs that he has. All right, so the next move that we have is the double Dagon kick. He always had this move, and it uses up pretty much the entire resource of the cameo, but now the final hit drains a full meter. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So as you can see, Scorpion lost an entire meter. Not some of it, not half of it, or a little bit, an entire bar. This is very interesting. Doing this, there's actually now a reason to use your whole entire KAMEO gauge to take away a bar from your opponent. This could be used, I would think, more strategically to prevent you from breaking away and to apply a certain pressure. So this is actually a really good buff. All right, so moving along to the next buff. So Darius now is able to regain some of his meter. So of course, you know that this KAMEO, he has a lot of cool stuff, but to use it, you're most likely going to be depleting your KAMEO gauge and you're going to be stuck without him for quite some time. So with twister kicks, they incorporated that when you end it with twister kicks, you're going to recover half of your KAMEO gauge. So this is what it looks like. So as you can see, I recovered half of my gauge with that attack. So in a sense, it's promoting you to use the twister kicks to take extra damage, which is also not a bad move as well. And the name of the game is availability. So now Darius just became that much more available. And I think this is a really, really good buff to him. And that will be all for Darius. These are some pretty good buffs. I can see myself utilizing Darius more. Hopefully you will utilize Darius more. And let's get right along to the next KAMEO. All right, so the next KAMEO that we will be discussing is Frost. So Frost just has one additional move, and the move is called Ice Wall. How do you do it? You do down and R1, so down and the KAMEO button, and she will place an ice wall. Pretty much you can do corner combos anywhere on the screen. And not only corner combos, depending on the character, you can also have certain type of Oki situations, which is also really good. The way how I found to utilize it, I'll show it to you now. All right, so now I'm gonna show you an example of how you can create corner combos, or you can just create new lanes to open up. I have GERAS, and I'm going to show you something. Now, mind you, this is not optimal. I'm giving you guys an idea on how to utilize this move. Obviously, you can go into the lab and then you can also figure it out. This is just to explain to you, give you an idea on where to start. As you can see, we got 40%, takes 2% more damage than he normally does. So this is an example of how to utilize the Frost Wall. You can also use it for Oki setups and safe jumps and stuff like that. But as I said, I'm just showing you how to utilize it to give you an idea so you can lab it on your own. So that will be all for Frost. So let's move right along to the next KAMEO. All right, so the next KAMEO we're gonna get into is GORO. And out of some of these KAMEOs, this one is pretty interesting. So let's go over them. The first thing on his buffs is that he has an increased recharge rate of punch walk, right? So if you do forward and the KAMEO button, not that move, this move right here, it actually recharges a bit faster. Now, I personally never really utilized GORO. The only two people I've seen I only utilize GORO personally was if I played Kung Lao or if I played Tanya. Aside from that, never really, I couldn't really tell you what the recharge rate was, but in any case, a buff is always welcome. So the next thing is that the Raise the Roof now can be canceled into dead weight or punch walk before the attack is performed. So what does that look like? All right. So if you do this move, you can now go into another move. Now, obviously, it's going to use your entire KAMEO resource, but it also gives a mind game because I can call the person out here, right? But you have to do it, by the way, you have to do it before the animation begins. You could call him out over here and then go into punch walk, go into a combo. You get the point. It's a welcome addition, and I think this is actually really good. I think this is actually a really good, useful step, and I think this is actually going to make GORO a lot more useful, and we will see a lot more people utilizing him. So the next buff is Punch Walk can now be cancelled into dead weight or Shokan stomped after any punches. So if you're doing this, you can also grab him and go into something else. So this is actually really good. I haven't figured out how to utilize it yet, but you get the point. You can actually go into something, throw him up in the air, and get a combo. This is good. This actually leads to a lot of creativity, and it's much needed, and it's definitely going to spice things up. Other than that, that would be it for Goro. So let's move right along to the next cameo. All right, so we are now talking about Jax, and Jax pretty much just got one buff. Well, you could say, yeah, one buff, one nerf. He's still pretty balanced. So the first thing with Jax is that he has a reduced recharge rate of energy wave, and it now recovers 10 frames faster on block or miss. So this is energy wave. It typically keeps him safe. It recovers faster whether you miss it or it's on block. And this is good. We actually needed this. So now it's actually +7, which is really good. Deadly in the corner. But even on block, he recovers faster. So typically sometimes when he did this move before, he kind of was on the screen a little too long, and then he will get punished, you lose health, and then you'll get blown up for it. So it is a nice buff, but a nerf at the same time. Overall, I think it's a good buff for Jax. And that would be all. So let's move along to the next cameo. All right, so we are talking about Motaro, and I'm sure if you guys watch me here on Mount Olympus, you know that I always use Motaro with GERAS, and to hear that Motaro have some buffs, it's really good. So the first thing is his teleport when he warps you out of. So the first thing that they did, you can say it's a nerf, but I think it was always a bug. In some cases, a lot of times when you get hit, you can still teleport out of your opponent punishing you. So that can no longer be done with Motaro. So if you got hit, I can no longer call Motaro to warp me out of it. If I got hit, I'm just getting hit, plain and simple. Now, the next thing is that his warp, you can control the different ranges after grabbing his partner and has slightly increased meter refill delay. So what does that mean? It means that now when I teleport, I can choose to teleport right in front of him, a little bit of space, and then far away. This is extremely good because sometimes you can't use the flip, right? Sometimes you can just use the teleport and you can get yourself out of there. Simply, you can't punish me. You can't see me, you can't punish me. This is really good, really, really good. I think it's definitely gonna open up some things. Groundbreaking, I would say is borderline groundbreaking, because now, for instance, with GERAS, you can't punish me with certain strings. I can just simply teleport out of there, and GERAS keep away game would be really good. As well as anyone who plays or pairs up with Motaro, your keep away game is going to be a lot better with this buff. I'm going to show you guys the next and final thing that is actually gonna blow your mind. All right, so this right here is actually game changing. So now Motaro's fatal blow charge has armor. So what does that mean? So in case you didn't know, when you do your fatal blow, if you hold forward and tap on R1, he can do another move, which is the Motaro punch, and that can go into your fatal, which does more damage. But now that move has armor. So I have the AI set to do the human torpedo after reversal, right? So I'm gonna show you a basic string Sub-Zero has that has a gap. See, I cannot block that. That's guaranteed. You do that move, you cannot block it. Stand 1-2, it's reversal punish, right? But if I do stand 1-2 into fatal blow, I can tank the hit and it goes into fatal. This is groundbreaking because now the mind game is gonna be there. Whereas, okay, do I do this? He has fatal blow. Now is that much more scary because now that Motaro, I was about to say Goro. Now that Motaro has armor, it's a risk now. You really have to think about whether to armor through because I can now tank your hit and still get the fatal blow. A really, really good buff to Motaro, and I really like the direction NRS is going once again. And let's move it along to the next cameo. All right, moving it along to Scorpion. So the Scorpion cameo received a new move, and it is called Aura of Flame. So you simply just hold down the cameo button during fire breath and it will go into it. This is what it looks like. And it gives you dot damage. Well, not you, but your opponent. And it's gonna take about 15% the entire time. So it does use up all your cameo resources. And so I'm sure if we did some type of combo, I don't know if we if you activated it and then you, I don't know, let's see. So I'm sure you can add this in some combos. Pretty much when the enemy gets close by you, they're taking damage. So this is actually a good addition to the Scorpion cameo. It's actually really good. Having the dot damage can help in certain situations and low health situations. And I think it's a really good new addition, new move to Scorpion. But that's the only move that he has. So let's move it forward with the next cameo on the list. All right, moving along to the next cameo, we have SEKTOR. So this is also some pretty creative buffs that he received. So now with SEKTOR, activate homing now fires 2 missiles instead of 1. So if you pretty much do it twice, you now can shoot 2 rockets. The up rocket starts 5 frames faster and has a different hit reaction and has a bigger hit region when opponent is in a combo. All that means is that if you land this in a combo, it's able to connect a lot better. So if you land it like this, it gives you some bounce properties like that, which is good. It's actually a good buff. When flamethrower is blocked or misses, players can choose not to perform the second hit by holding away and the cameo button. So now what that means is that when you call out the flamethrower, you can just either let it rock or you can simply just want that first hit to hit. So typically this move was always used as a restand. So now I can see that you just kind of want to get the wake up option. You can just simply just do it. You don't have to do the second hit. You can just go into whatever combo string you wish to go into. So now something else I want to bring up is that the 2 activated homing missiles, that they actually give you juggle properties, and they also are really good for combos. But I particularly just found something that it can be used to actually break armor. As you can see, I use both the missiles to continue the pressure even after he got knocked down. And as you can see, Peacemaker tried to do a wake up but got stuffed, and now I was able to continue my pressure on him. So this is just one example of how to utilize those missiles, and I think this is a really good addition to the game. Good job. All right, so now we're talking about KHAMELEON. So KHAMELEON, she definitely received some nerfs, and let's talk about them. So fan lift will no longer interact with a player who is in a hit reaction. So what does that mean? If you played Mortal Kombat, either ranked or in casual, I'm sure you've seen it. Someone does something unsafe, you go to punish them, you connect your first hit, and then here comes the KITANA cameo lifting them out the air and they're jumping over you. So that can no longer happen as of this patch, and that's really good. Now the second thing is that if KHAMELEON is hit before the glaive returns, it would no longer return regardless of the main fighter blocking. So I'm going to show you what that looks like on the screen. All right, so I have the AI set to do a down 1 reversal. So I'm going to do the Jade Glaive, and you're going to see that when I get down 1, the glaive does not come back, right? So right there, I try to punish him and I got down 1 and the glaive did not come back. This is a much needed nerf. Good job with that. So the next thing is that side toss has 31 more frames of vulnerability to attacks. We don't have to pretty much go over that. It's just pretty much 31 more frames of vulnerability to attacks. It just means when she throws the size in the air, you can attack her a lot better. The roll has 18 more frames of vulnerability to attacks on hit or miss. It just means that she is now more punishable. So if you're able to interrupt the ball, say if the same time your opponent throws out the ball, the Melina ball, and you throw out something else, she's more liable to get hit and to stop that from happening. Next up, it says the glow has 44 more frames of vulnerability to non-projectile attacks. All it means is pretty much when you do the glow, they can get hit out of it. That's pretty much it. Next, the glaive has 9 more frames of vulnerability to attacks. Fan toss has 45 more frames of vulnerability to attacks, and fan lift has 29 more frames of vulnerability to attacks. Yeah, so pretty much the biggest takeaway is that you could no longer do the fan lift, and you can actually punish better now. If you block the glaive, you can punish better, and the ball rolls or anything that she does, Chameleon is now a lot more punishable with any type of attacks to do. And yeah, so it's, in my opinion, I think this is much needed. It's not too much, but it's enough to where this cameo will now be balanced. But anywho, let's move it right along, and that will be it. Now there are some other stuff, other cameos that was on the patch notes, but they were mainly like bug fixes. I typically just wanted to go over, you know, the things that pretty much were important in this patch. And my overall thoughts about this patch was, it actually was a good patch. It's definitely gonna change the meta, spice it up, and I'm actually looking forward to playing this game more. If you feel the same way, tell me all about it in the comment section. Drop a like and drop a sub, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.